And as your angle goes from high to low, more force is transmitted to the rescuer's legs. And as that change occurs, naturally you're going to need more rescuers to absorb that force. However, they will still be leaning back, and it's just a minimal amount of force that they're absorbing. We're a fan of double long-tail bowlines anytime we attach rescuers or a package to a terminal end of a working line. So main and belays together. To double long-tails here, these are our backups for our rescuers. We have a doubled over ring. The first two rescuers on the sides, we want some adjustability for those rescuers. Naturally, a set of fours works. You can connect into the ring here. This prevents any kind of twisting, or you can connect directly into the yoke of the bowline. Either way will work. I prefer the ring because if you connect into the bowline and weight it, you tend to want to torque your bridle, and I'm just not a fan of that. But I'm just nitpicking. You can do either or, it'll be fine. As far as the bridle itself, we've ditched the foot bridle and just used the head bridles by extending them out. And I've wrapped just like a tensionless hitch around the head. So there's very little tension here when I weight this. There's very little tension on the back end of these, and it's all being absorbed into the frame of the rail. As we walk down, we're just going to walk down one side and then we'll walk down the other side as well. So this is one of the rescuer's primary attachment. In the steep angle, we typically will want to orient the litter parallel with the slope, and we're going to put three rescuers on, 2 on each side and 1 at the very bottom end or the foot of the litter. That person hopefully should be like our heaviest person. That's like our counterweight to try to keep this litter elevated off the surface. Okay, so one rescuer will have his set of fours, primary connection to the ventral point, so here, and then he has a backup coming off of that long tail to sternal. This backup is going to continue all the way down. And one caveat, the 2 rescuers on the side should be approximately the same height. That'll help out a lot. The person in the back should be our heaviest person. And all they're gonna do is do a primary connection as close to the litter as possible. Here we just wrapped the old Bridles, the old foot bridle, into a tri-link, connected it with a carabiner. Super fast, but you can do a lot of different things. Primary connection is here. Backup connection, just like before, sternal via prusik to that backup. I don't need to take the tail and tie it into the rescuer. I can just make sure there's a stopper knot on it and let it go. That's perfectly fine. Moving over, since 2 of our rescuers are backed up on that blue line, I don't need this at the foot. I can just put that in the litter with our patient. And then this duplicates. Our other rescuer on the other side, it's a mirror image, except we're using the other long tail of our double long-tail bowline. Same setup, prusik to sternal connection point on the harness, ventral connection point, adjustable set of fours. One thing I see a lot of, people think that on a steep angle, that if they connect directly into the litter, they'll be good. And you should avoid doing that. We want our rescuers to be directly connected into the system and not the litter. A lot of times, as the angle gets from steep to low, you'll see a lot of rescuers trying to tie in, whether it's a prusik, a sling, something, and try to manipulate the litter here. This can be problematic because as our angle gets shallower, there's more force that we have to sustain with our legs and hold on. And if we're choked up between the rail and our harness on our ventral ring, it pulls us down. At the same time, if we have a line that's pulling this package up a slight pitch or an incline, our rescuers are trying to lean back into the system, resisting that line, at the same time trying to support their own weight as they walk. That's going to throw their balance off, and what happens is they lose their balance and they get dragged by the system on their face, and we want to avoid that. So as the angle gets shallower, we would rather hook up in a different way. Steep angle, I don't want to do this. I want to go directly to the yoke and call that my primary connection, because these guys are leaning back quite a lot. They're just kind of steering the litter. The counterweight at the tail, that person is actually kicking out against the wall with minimal force, and they're just elevating that litter away from the face. That's all they're doing. Again, steep angle is pretty steep. As we flatten out, we need to give serious consideration to an alternate rigging. So maybe adding more people to our litter. Okay.